Hi, my name is Hynes, and I'm co-founder and CEO at Climatebase, where we're building the platform for climate tech opportunities. Climate tech represents the largest wealth creation opportunity of all time. According to the World Resources Institute, we must invest $100 trillion in climate solutions over the next 30 years. And as BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has stated, this could create upwards of 1,000 climate tech unicorns, which will, of course, create millions of new jobs. But this is simply just not happening fast enough. Today, climate tech companies struggle to attract both talent and capital at the speed required to scale the climate solutions humanity desperately needs. Hiring is already slow and expensive for these companies to begin with, but generic job platforms like LinkedIn and Indeed are far too noisy and lack the adequate curation for climate tech. And when it comes to fundraising, the amount of capital that would otherwise be invested in the next Teslas of the world is currently bottlenecked because most of those opportunities are largely limited to wealthy institutional investors. Both of these factors are compounded by the fact that climate tech is a new and rapidly growing, but still nascent space. And much of the hiring and investing has occurred in siloed and inaccessible networks. So at Climatebase, we want to solve this by building a platform for climate tech opportunities. And we're starting first with a focus on jobs and community. Since launching in mid-2020, we've helped over 1,800 companies attract talent from our audience of over 300,000 mission-driven users. And the vast majority of our users also want community. They want to connect with each other, and we've discovered that they're even willing to pay for that. In fact, we already have $2.5 million in demand for our private paid community, which we're doing to eventually open up to be a free and foundational component of Climatebase as a platform. We began experimenting with monetization in May, and since then, we've crossed over $100,000 in revenue from employers ahead of schedule, and our MRR is now growing organically at 18% month over month. It's also important to note that nearly all of our revenue has been inbound, and the vast majority of our growth has been almost purely organic word of mouth. So we're already becoming a well-recognized staple within the climate tech ecosystem. But our vision for Climatebase doesn't end just as a jobs and community platform. We want to be the market network for the climate tech ecosystem to help climate tech companies attract talent and capital. We envision a flywheel where users and companies come to Climatebase for the jobs, and our users stay for the community, which drives engagement and creates a moat through network effects. And with this, we're able to help the companies on Climatebase raise capital from our engaged community of mission-driven users in exchange for us collecting a portion of the total amount raised. Climatebase sits at the center of three large and rapidly growing markets, and we estimate the intersection of these for our niche to be around $12 billion TAM. We're starting off as a jobs platform, which is as a market size expected to grow to $50 billion by 2026. And we also see opportunities within capital, particularly around crowdfunding, the market of which is expected to grow to $200 billion by 2026. The niche, of course, that we're focusing on is climate tech, which at $32 billion in this past year has doubled year over year for the past 4 years straight, is now outpacing the growth of the broader VC market by 5x. With a clear focus on climate, we're bringing together what is currently a fragmented landscape of unspecialized alternatives. And in doing so, we can uniquely combine the defensibility of a marketplace, the network effects and moat of a focused community, and the market opportunity for climate tech capital into a single solution. In 2022, we plan to double down on jobs and talent and achieve $1 million in ARR. But we also plan to onboard the first 1,000 members to our private paid community. This will generate revenue for us, but it'll also, more importantly, seed an engaged social experience on the Climatebase platform, which we will eventually open up to our broader audience of users. At the end of 2022, we'll take our first step into capital, beginning with a crowdfunding campaign for one of the most exciting companies on Climatebase. Together as a team, we have decades of experience building platforms and communities at organizations like Slack, Netflix, Make School, Gusto, and more. And what we're really doing is building the product we needed for ourselves. I started Climatebase because I wanted to work in climate, and I realized that the major platforms of the world didn't help me discover the right opportunities effectively. What started off as my own spreadsheet of thousands of climate tech companies then evolved into the world's first climate career fair, which has evolved into the Climatebase platform that you see today. And this is really just the beginning. Join us in our mission to accelerate climate tech solution. Sorry, join us in our mission to accelerate climate solutions for a climate positive world. Thank you for the opportunity to present, and I look forward to your questions.